Got the correct microphone setting, and I think audio should be fine. Maybe. Yeah, audio's fixed. Headset. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. It's been a crazy journey, but we're here now. I am feeling absolutely horrifically timed for this release as well. Ran into a badass cold. So bear with me here doing this. Some coughing and whatnot will probably be guaranteed. Yeah. So for this stream, we might have someone popping in here later on, which is why I have a second window up here. If he pops by or not, it really depends a little bit on how crazy his schedule is. Yeah, a long time coming. 10.0. There's still a couple of things that Dennis and the guys are working in the background to fix out some pipeline. We also noticed that we deployed a last kind of a word of caution / warning at the moment for anyone that is currently running a playtest with 10. The last update kind of broke a few things in preparation for saves that were not. So to kind of give some context to that, the save games that are coming from 9.7 and migrating over to 10 needs to have the settlement feature disabled when they boot up the server. The idea was that we added a migration that was kind of supposed to automatically do that. So if the server detects that, hey, this save is coming from a version prior to 10, just flag the settlements features as disabled, and then it should, in theory, just work. It turned out that it's a little bit too aggressive on the migration, and it also applied to the current existing 10.0 saves, which was not intended. So if you're booting it up with, yeah, just a little bit broken. But they're looking at it right now. So if you have a current playtest, you might need to just wait a little bit to update. But we'll have more information on that in as we kind of go along here. It's all good, I think. I hope. Maybe. But yeah, it's been a crazy load. We're finally here. It feels like it's been forever for us in terms of releasing actionable content for you guys to enjoy and kind of get crazy with. So we are hoping that you will do the same for the 10 stuff as went into 9. The game is so different. Migrating from 9.7 to 10 will be kind of weird. Yeah, something that it's been a long river. The Steam update will happen when the button is pushed and the update is pushed, which was scheduled as a preliminary time, which was in 18 minutes, the intended time. If that's on the minute, we're not gonna guarantee it because we know how Steam works, and we're kind of dreadfully anticipating potential issues in the pipeline deployment. So, you know, preliminary time for in about 15 minutes. If it takes a few minutes longer or if it takes a half an hour longer, we'll know on the stream. As I'll probably get poked by Dennis with angry messages saying, hey, distract people. But it'll be things and information will roll out here as they kind of happen and as we run through this. And this is quite wild. It's been a long journey. Will the Linux server be available from the SLG website? That's one of the things that we're precarious about. Steam will probably not be as much of an issue as our website deployment. I think that's still semi-manual. Like I said, I'll update with when things are actually released, when things are actually available, as we kind of chug along here. A few things for people that are migrating. One, as I mentioned, settlement system should be automatically disabled. Make sure you have a backup of your save when you roll over, as is kind of huge general warning sign whenever you're upgrading from a major update version. And that kind of goes along for any game, really, not just not just Eco in specific. Whenever you're updating majorly, make sure to save a backup. Hosted servers will work day one if we're starting a new server for update 10. For general server hosts, we don't control those. We have no control over them. They pull from Steam, I believe, when it's available. So when it's available for everyone else on Steam, the server host will have access to it. So there might be some time dilation discrepancy in between that update happening to everything. Will the update for the client and like all the versions are released in one patch. When we do a build, it does all of it in one go. So it does the clients, it does the servers of all the different variations, and they all get pushed simultaneously to the same location. So all of that comes into its own kind of package in the pipeline when we press, like, make a new build for an update. Yeah, server hosts are usually pretty quick at pulling it. I think it pings in their internal system, like they do checks with version updates, and then they see that Steam has released a new one. Any Steam sale coming with update 10? Yes. Not sure if it's posted yet, but there should be. And Monsoon, are you pushing the build to play Eco at the same time? It should be. Like, everything should be generally happening at the same time. Dennis, I think, has the control over the buttons for the releases, so they should all kind of just happen. If there is an issue, I'll bring it up. Quickly asking, does SLG actually hiring? Depends a little bit on like experience, location, and just in general. So for those questions, you can reach out to Dennis, or you can also send a mail to the support email, I think, as well. I don't think we have a official hiring thing. Dennis just became a god. Don't push the red button. Repaint it to green for release. What are the plans for update 11? Oh, there's so many plans, so many things, so far away. No, future updates we'll go over and brew on and drop some more. Yeah, there we go. We have a link for application link on in the Twitch chat there. Have a look and see if there's anything going on with YouTube chat. Is quite calm. I like YouTube chat. It's evenly paced. What time does the update arrive? The preliminary is in, I guess, 12 minutes ish. Yeah, so where was I? Train of thought there disappeared. Yeah, so the on the topic of migration, there are a few new things in 10 that is just simply unattainable from 9.7. So the admins will have to spawn in seeds, in particular for the flax plant, because flax is quite embedded into the early game cloth and lumber manufacturing. A full patch list should be popping out on Steam with the deployment of the update itself. It doesn't contain every single like balance, recipe, change, and whatnot. But it does have like a generalization of a lot of the things related to it. And Dudex, is there something preparing for the winter events? With more detailed balance changes, I can look into actually compiling something for that, like with the actual fine print of things. We just realized that if I do that for the actual Steam list, the whole, like, it would take forever to kind of scroll through it. And Armored, on the topic of the flax. So to clarify, if you're starting a new world in 10, flax spawns naturally. It spawns just as any other plant. It's if you have a 9.7 world, we're in the same situation as we were with the tailoring update in 9.4, for those who remember, where your world generally didn't have cotton available at when you migrated, because there's no way to kind of reintroduce a plant in the same way because of how embedded all the different kind of environmental aspects and everything. Like, say, you know, we can't force flax to spawn in areas where it wouldn't be growing, and if it didn't have a valid place in the world to spawn anyway, then it wouldn't be spawning. So the easiest way for anyone that is migrating is just have that is doing that will just have an admin spawn in seeds and you know, run it by a distribution station or something. So yeah. But either way, we have such a huge change in terms of its biodiversity in the different general areas, as well as a huge rework of the mineral deposits and everything else, that I strongly advise just running a new world. Simply out of the sheer scope of changes that have been going into it. Rookie, will we ever be able to place stone roads the same way as asphalt roads? Yes. And as everyone else in the chat is agreeing, yes, you can. When you grab stone road blocks now, you'll have full access to the fill form types. As for the ore veins, yes, they've been completely overhauled. One thing that might be causing some issues is one of the things we wanted to get in was a config to kind of force migrate config files as well, which has its pros and cons. It was not merged because I didn't have enough time to kind of test it and make sure that it actually worked properly. There's also kind of a bit of caution to not just nuke config files and changes that people have done. So if you have generated a world before, you want to consider just jumping into your config folder and removing that world generator .eco. So for anyone, I can't grab this in here. Open this up and then I'll switch over. We can't do this. There, and then these, and we grab. It's not pretty, but if we do this, when you have generated the server, and like you started the client, you started a new world or what have you. So inside your eco folder, or if you're running on Steam, grab that through here. You can go in through properties. When didn't it do? Oh, right, it did that thing. Hang on. Hang on. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted the display capture. I'm sorry, everyone. Bit off the habit here. Have anything in there? Yeah, no. Here we go. So when you, if you're running it on Steam, just hop in here, go into properties, and you can go into your installed files and hit browse, and that'll pop you up with wherever you have eco installed. And here you have under the server folder, so eco data, server. This is where you have everything related to your configuration settings stored for your local server. So in this case, you have this world generator.eco, which you can just delete. Make sure you don't kick, or make sure you don't kill the templates. Otherwise, you can just run a similar thing here where you go into installed folders and just verify integrity if you accidentally delete one of the templates. That'll make sure that your config is up to the most recent variation. And that is the file that's kind of determining where and how it's pulling the config values for these things. Over here. Always see new UI in game, like option to store stockpiles, maybe 2 stocks in hand. You already have a whole bunch of different variations to like filter whatnot, in terms of input, output filters, and kind of automatically sort things through the, I don't remember what it's called. Consolidate, I think. That'll kind of shuffle things around. Other than that, stockpiles are listed in terms of crafting. Stockpiles are resources are pulled from stockpiles from top to bottom, from left to right. That's something that was added 9.5, I think, maybe. Where I'm from? I am from Sweden. Yes. Oh yeah, on. Are we gonna talk about version 10 or just the bugs it has? No, we'll. So, on 10. What new feature or update am I personally excited about? Ooh, that's a very tough question. I've had a lot of fun with the boats. I'm not gonna disagree. I've fought with the boats, and I've also had a lot of fun with the boats. The whole kind of design around the paddle system and everything surrounding it. There's a lot of back and forth, up and downs I've had with them, tinkering with them as well. What about primitive leather clothes? Yeah, what? Anyone that's poked around in the playtests, what do you guys think of it? We changed out the roster of old clothing and kind of scrapped all the old beginner clothing, like the starter clothing. And these now have kind of like these primitive tribal outfits that you get to select from the start, and then anything kind of upgradable from that would have to go through the tailors. I'm hoping that the update will go as planned here in a few minutes. We'll see. There's a lot of chatter going on with inside the UA chat, so so it seems like the pipeline is forking it a little bit, and it doesn't really want to deploy right now. So it'll be a slight temporal delay here. Anything new with the loss for the update? Well, you have the whole settlements things, so you're no longer having global loss from the start if you're playing with settlements enabled. What that means is that when you start the game, you can't just build a capital and everyone gets to vote on it and whatnot. You need to create a town. Inside that town influences where the laws that you enact are gonna be affecting. And if you want a broader, wider, bigger area, you're gonna need to have multiple towns band together and or get a higher cultural value, which is gained by using art stuff, which is cultural improvement objects, which is at the moment it's pictures and paintings and pictures that you place in frames. These gets to be voted on, and we have also done a lot of late minute additions, changes, and upgrades to the reputation. So now you have a few new server configurations that kind of allows you to, from an admin perspective, tinker with how much reputation you're allowed to give out, how much reputation you're allowed to give any one specific item / entity / person. And this comes together with getting kind of transformed into cultural value, and so on. Can we expect having some devlogs released today as well? I have a tech tree devlog that is kind of brewing. I just need to grab some better screenshots for it to kind of spiff it up a little bit, and then it'll be released. Did you ever get the aqueducts added to Ashlar Stone? No, there's no trailer dropping today or 4 hours Jens talk. Ooh. I think if we were to sit here with my cold for 4 hours, you all would probably be as dead as I am by the end of it. Trailer should be in the works. I've seen it. It looks nice. I like it. Is the approval system still in place? Is it manual? Will it be automated with 10? All of that is on the server side. So you have a few different variation tiers of that setting. Since we're past 5, but the pipeline kind of failed, so it's not being deployed properly. Or is it updating? Is it? I don't know. Are we live? Who knows? Hope that they're live. Porting it as live. Are you sitting on the release branch, or are you sitting on the stable branch? Yeah, so it is live on Steam. It is not live on the website. The website takes a little bit longer. What happened was that the automatic pipeline to Steam didn't really want to work because it needs to be manually pushed as it requires new 2FA, like upload protection stuff. Andy, what setting would I have to change in order to make towns' influences radius grow faster, have a smaller population segment, but we'd like to use larger map? We can actually go through some of that now. Here, now that we have released and everything's out, woohoo! We can do this. Transition into our amazing new launch screen. Yeah, now you no longer have that huge bridge and government building. Now you have a little juicy dock line. So this is actually a really interesting world, as this is built entirely by the art team. And it is also actually usable. So all of the things, like all of the buildings here, they have stuff in them and crafting stations and everything. And so this is an actual world they built, poking around and doing an internal playtest and whatnot. It should be live on the default branch, and Dennis is pushing the post now as well. Yeah, it's listed. If you select the specific branch, you'll see it there's kind of sneakily ahead. It just takes a little bit longer to go to kind of enact on the default branch. So a few things to make sure that are the other 6 blocks. There's a few that are kind of coming in the post of release, so you know they'll kind of come out as they're ready and kind of as whatnot. As I recently bought a Tobii eye tracker, are there any plans to support this in Eco? You do have face tracking with web camera, but we do not have anything that supports anything outside of camera stuff, like IR tracking or whatnot. It should be on the base branch. Face tracking is a bit odd because I'm using OBS. I'm using OBS and my camera directly to OBS, so if I try to enable the face tracking on in-game, it'll kind of seize up the camera in OBS. So if you are streaming, face tracking, yeah, the face tracking got massively improved. It's actually working really, really good. It's terrifying. It's daunting. Try it out. Have a blast. There will be laughs involved. But yeah, so if you are a streamer, for example, or you know you're doing some whatever with recording and you're using your webcam at the same time, my suggestion is to use OBS virtual camera for your camera tracking in game, rather than trying to use the camera directly, just to keep compatibility with your regular kind of webcam display versus the camera used for tracking in game. Unless, of course, you're doing it with the dual camera situation. Time to break the game and the devs morale at the same time. Yes, Armored, thank you very much. On the clothing, House of Dog is not. So OBS has if you're using your web camera in OBS to display it, you know, for streaming or whatnot, similar to what I have now in the bottom left corner, you want to be using the virtual camera to pull from that same data stream, and then when you're in game here, for the face tracking, I don't think I have the face tracking. When you go into the avatar, you have that availability for start face tracking, and that'll turn the face tracking option on. Once it's on, it'll also be this will be toggled on automatically as well, and in here you can choose what source of video you want to use for the face tracking. And you can select your virtual camera through there instead of trying to tap into the same video stream. That is a very good question. Where is it? Oh, it should be in here somewhere. Did it get posted with the update? Maybe. Yeah. Face tracking is so good and creepy at the same time. Yeah, I tried it out and it was it's so good it's a jarring experience. Should be in there. Can you watch it there? Yeah. I was just waiting for some links. Dennis is publishing it in a moment. I was hoping to have our amazing new social media individual with us, but can you demo the face tracking? At the moment, I really can't because of the way I have OBS set up for the restream at the moment. I don't really have it adapted to run with my virtual camera. But I think there should be some... There we go. It is published, so... Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, didn't we mention that it also featured hand tracking as well as finger tracking? You can do some really crazy stuff. It was one of those kind of fun side tech projects that that was being worked on by Sergey and another guy. That's looking pretty crazy. Yes, hang on. We have this thing here. Hoping to have Ryan here, but yeah, he'll hop in here in a bit. So we can do a there we go. Have that sorted out. Pop that open here. Let's switch back. Just for a second here. Have there we go. Waiting for him to connect his stuff up. Here in a jiffy as well. Now we got the release notes should be out on Steam now, and we have trailer is also out. We'll play the trailer here as well as soon as he back on here. See, Dennis is with us here in chat on Twitch as well. Now the real challenge begins, finding an updated server. Yeah, there's a lot of servers that are opting to start on Friday, which I believe is mainly due to, like, they have some in-house mods and whatnot that they are trying to sort out and update and make sure everything's working for them. They also have a lot of servers that are using some custom settings that they need to adapt for 10 as well. Yeah, we got Monsoon here, we got Prefector. A lot of them that are working on just updating. Nord, feels like there's a lot of changes. Yes, there is a absolutely astronomical amount of changes that is going into 10, and there should be one there. There we go.
Hello.
Hey. Just pull up your volume a little bit, and then...
Just give me one moment to pull up my camera for everybody here.
There we go, I think. People on stream, let me know if I need to adjust this volume a little bit, up or down.
Hello.
Everything under control here. There's a lot of things that are happening.
So yeah, the camera feed should be live. There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there we go. So we have your stuff is muted on the other stream, so we're through video working, no double audio.
Awesome. I'm just pulling up the stream so I can see everybody's beautiful chats.
So yeah, here we have our latest edition doing all of our social media stuff, and yeah. Why did you? I'll just leave it to you. You can introduce yourself. You're a grown man.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Red. I am doing content creation, some social media. I'm running the partner program, and yeah, anywhere else I can kind of help out with the eco team. I've been doing sort of community and social and content work for quite a long time. Community work for about 10 years. And I'm very happy to be a part of eco, because actually when I ran a game with my friends, the co-developers actually played eco. So it's kind of a small world that I'm actually here helping you guys now. Oh, the Twitch drops are working. I see that too. That's awesome.
Oh, nice. There we go. Yeah, I lowered you a little bit. Apparently I cranked up your volume a little bit too high.
Oh, sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then I will just do screen sharing on Discord. Screen live. So yeah, Ryan is the person that's been behind all the fancy stuff that has been going on with all the videos and snips and whatnot. I'm not a TikToker myself. Don't really. I get stuff sent to me from that scene, but I don't really have it. I'm more of a YouTube person.
Yeah, I basically live on there now. Okay, I'm just posting some content for everybody on Twitter. We're actually putting out some content right now. Post all.
That is Urtuckle. The website takes a little bit longer than Steam to deploy to, so I'll update and shout whenever that is updated properly. But yeah, I think like we just deployed the trailer. I actually didn't see it with audio. I've
You haven't watched it yet?
No, I haven't watched it. I saw the pre-production and like prior to all the audio and everything. So took a part in one of the scenes in it, but that's as close as I've gotten to it. Yeah, I don't know. We can just run through the trailer and give that a whirl. You ready?
I am ready.
Ready.
Enter a vibrant, natural world, teeming with life at every corner. A tranquil world whose days are numbered. Its survival is in your hands. Begin your journey by using the natural resources around you. Specialize in a craft and trade goods and labor with your fellow citizens in an economy you develop. Advance your society to make ever greater progress forward.
These are great shots. The community that helped Toby and everybody get these shots.
Develop culture to further your settlement's influence.
This looks really nice.
It's like I'm in here dancing like that.
As your civilization grows, so does your impact. Use data to measure and understand your effect on the world. Propose laws and taxes to protect the ecosystem. Create elections and run for office. Found towns and countries to collaborate with your fellow citizens. Build towards a global government to solve society's biggest challenges. And ultimately, prevent a global catastrophe without causing one in the process.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That is a huge thank you to our art team that spent a insane amount of hours getting stuff cut, done, edited, and just built that whole thing together. And huge thank you to Leonard, who sorted out all the audio and the voiceover and everything else surrounding it. And everyone in between that just helped out in some way, shape, or form on that thing, because it is truly a piece of art. And as a note, there are a few things in there that is, you know, some people that have been doing the playtest and whatnot, have noted that a lot of the footage are coming from our playtest servers. So a lot of the things in there is stuff that player built. Yeah, just looking pretty slick.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I've been in White Tiger a lot and some of the other sort of build servers, just kind of seeing this update and the community experience it while you guys are working on it, and it's very exciting stuff. I took a boat on a very long journey one day across the entire sort of ocean, and I was just kind of chilling out with the sun and the waves. It was amazing. Just I know it's just a small thing, but it was really enjoyable for me. And yeah, it's just seeing what the community creates in such like a short time. Like you guys are amazing at the stuff that you build. There's a lot of funny stuff that was in the test servers as well that I'm excited to see if it makes it to the live version. Like some stuff that the community had built up. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, it's gonna be the link to the trailer. Yeah, hoping that post it somewhere, but
I think I can get it for you.
I can just post the link that
Perfect.
posting it both on Twitch. So yeah, there's it's crazy time. As we've seen, it's live, it's out. Still waiting for definitive when that when the website is updated. So hang on for that. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I know how much shenanigans people were up to with the previous versions and the big updates. I think we went to a few iterations before things were really kind of settling down, and people have gotten used to the new mining methods and everything else. So it'll probably be a rocky few first cycles for everyone to kind of get adjusted to how the new settlement system is working. And it's added a layer of complexity, yet it's not as complex as you would think once you kind of get into it a bit.
Yeah, there's a ton of depth in Eco, but I was surprised at how fast I was able to kind of like pick stuff up. I had played it a very long time ago, I think 2019.
Yeah,
If I
so
remember right.
that was back in 8.3, right?
I believe so. That's when my fellow work colleagues were playing it and they got me in for a bit. But yeah, I hadn't had time to like really pick up the systems. But now, since I've been making content, it's hard to pull myself out of just having fun and actually start making content because I can get lost pretty easily, especially when someone drives by and I'm like, "Oh, what do you got building?" And I start following them.
Yeah,
So if you see a random floating character just following you around, it's probably me filming something.
let's see. I believe that the ooh, let me see so I don't miss speak here.
Mhm.
Is it not live yet? I know. There should be.
I
Popped
saw
up the
the
trailer in the
Discord
background.
announcement.
Yeah, we've got information is kind of flowing out as we're running through it, and there should be a discount thing going on, but I don't think Steve's playing nice right now.
Oh, I think I've frozen my camera by mistake right as I was. There we go. That's on my end. Never mind.
All good. Um, not seeing it in the store right now, but it should be coming up there. I know the button was recently pressed, so it might take a few minutes before it properly updates, or it has me cached or something.
It is also Tuesday, and Steam can be a bit finicky on Tuesday because I believe that's their maintenance day of the week.
Yeah, which is also true.
Mm-hmm.
Should also be mentioned. Monsoon says Play Eco is properly updated now as well. I'm presuming that's the case, but been verified that that's actually the case. Well, right now. Yeah. So just see server 64-bit. Yes, Linux. Modkit is out. Yeah. So the Play Eco website downloads are also updated now and should be fine. Yeah, Jordan, Mac is. Do we even want to mention Mac? Mac is in a very, very sad place. It's unfortunate. If you have a general crash or just like it launch or whatnot, grab your logs and hop on over on Discord and drop them in there, because we've had the playtest rolling for quite a significant time, tested for a large variety of hardware, but you never know what in particular combinations might cause oddities. Jordan, do you want to post a notice in chat as well in regards to the console issue? Because we have Windows had an update that they pushed out in September, October that caused there's something that we're doing inside the console window that Windows didn't like. That was caused by the security update. And they have a fix pending. I'm not sure if that was ever actually deployed yet. There's a preliminary. Last I read about it, there was a fix coming from Microsoft that was on a test branch, but I don't think it's deployed yet. So if you're trying to start a local server, transition back into title screen. If you're trying to start a server and like from the dedicated perspective, and it just kills the server straight out, doesn't really do anything, that might be a cause of it, which is completely out of our hands. Where there are a few kind of bypass how to get around it, linked in the Discord technical help channels, which involves kind of changing out what terminal window you have. The main screen of video, yes. Yes, this is a video recording.
Yeah, it should be fairly high quality. Settings, but it seems like the bitrate maybe low. I wonder if it's related to client side, like their PC, or if it's something else.
That is a very good question. I know my display just upped quality like insane when I shoved on some of the settings in NVIDIA. Yeah, there we go. So if you're running into that issue, the test game just posted in Twitch chat.
Oh, cool.
I'll copy paste that to the YouTube chat. So if people on YouTube are experiencing issues when they're starting a dedicated server, you can run through the Microsoft Store and kind of grab that preview update, which should fix that. Same thing. Another question for you, Jordan. The Twitch drops, how are they working? Are they working, and how are they working?
I'm doing a connect right now, connect test.
What else we had? Someone with all the stairs rotated incorrectly. That is, it's an unfortunate side effect from fixing a lot of inconsistencies. Yeah, drops are working, supposedly. Should be working. Some people are saying Twitch drops are working, some say they're not working, so I am not involved in the Twitch drops other than adding the code to make them work in game. The actual entities themselves. So I don't really have a technical understanding on how the entire Twitch drop system works itself.
I'm linking Eco to my Steam right now, and then I'm going to do a test run just to see what I get here. Oh, someone just got the flip flops. That's a good sign.
Yeah, they're saying that some are working. Mechanics of Cities is a dangerous game with PvP fire and will lead to player oppression. I don't know, like there's a big I'll address your thing after Bob. So the general notion of like the whole cities and whatnot being an issue of like player oppression or griefing or whatever else. The whole general mechanics and sort of the finality of game values being something that you can directly prevent, pay or tax or whatever. It's something that Eco has always been able to do. Like this is not something that's new. In terms of like, you know, prevent Ryan from mining. Like you've been able to do that before. That's not something revolutionary. In terms of that scope. What is new is that because the old system based on globalism of that scale, which meant everyone voted on this action. So in that case, there was a sort of a protective layer of the larger majority of the entire server had to vote or agree, or, you know, they could at least pitch in and say, hey, we don't want to harass this player, so let's, you know, vote no on it and prevent this stupid law from being enacted because he's done nothing wrong. But at the same time, if no one voted no, then there was nothing that prevented the same functionality and the same mechanic from happening regardless. The big difference now is that because all of these civic actions are regionalized, it means that inside this little bubble, this sphere of a bubble, they can determine whatever else. You know, they can determine what they want inside that sphere of influence. But if they want to grow that sphere of influence, they join a country. Then all the things inside the country would be enacted by everyone involved. So even if you have this malicious little town that just wants to destroy everything for everyone, they can't just roll over everyone else entirely. If they want to create a country, they need to have an entire other town also agree to all of the same aspects. And then you add that to the Federation, where you have multiple countries, which then comprises of multiple towns. Then that's suddenly the large majority of the server anyway, which then puts it in the same criterias as before, where you need to have the large majority of votes to be able to push through laws. Same thing for you need to have the large majority to remove laws, or, you know, whichever civic articles that you're involved in. So yeah, there is a layer of griefing / like PvP oriented mix mentality that can be applied in some of these areas. But when you start to forcefully kind of annex and absorb these people, they're more than likely going to be hostile towards you because you're forcing them to do something they might not want to do, which then means they might be working against you in every single aspect of what you're trying to accomplish. It's just like real life. Yeah, who would have thought that forcefully annexing your neighbor would cause resentment with that neighbor? A shocking surprise reveal. So a few notes for people that have been doing the playtest or at any point doing the playtest. When you hop into the game, I think it should be prompting you. I know it prompts you and gives you an alert when you go into when you go into your avatar and you pop that open and you want to edit it. It'll pop you with an alarm saying that, hey, when you join a server, you're not going to be able to, like, any adjustments you make to your avatar is not going to be reflected on servers you have already joined, which is something slightly different, because now the avatar editing / appearance change is not as encompassing as it was when you edit your character on the server. Like, you can't change gender, and I believe skin color and some of the other, like, physiological stuff on the server you're actively playing on. You also need to go through a dresser to do that. So you want to make sure that kind of your avatar that you want to join a server with is the final variation that you have on that you've created and customized. See other players stay on CO2 playtest or go on 10 beta. Check on information on Discord for that. I believe Dennis posts some for the specific playtest, like what happens to the playtests and whatnot. I'll even summon him in the channel there. Take his, I'll take his wrath for doing a ping.
The great summoning has begun.
The great summoning has begun.
Yeah, it seems my drops are working now. Sweet.
Yeah, so at the moment the SO playtest branch is interchangeable with the release branch. So if you select the default branch, it should be the exact carbon copy of the other one. So it shouldn't even prompt you like an update, download, whatnot. Yeah. Did I have anything else that I kind of run by? I think transition here for a second because I am on release. I'm not on stable release.
Oh, it looks like I am being summoned for some marketing stuff. The new patch, so I may have to jump out.
Well, that's fine. You know, thank you for hopping on.
Of course, I'm hoping to join you on many more streams coming up, and me and Jens have been talking about something a little exciting for the Twitch community that we might be announcing soon. And hopefully, I'll see you guys very soon.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
There we go. I'm back. There you go. So yeah, I just muted a bit for just let him know and whatnot. Yeah, once you're on the stable version, or you know, if you haven't opted into one of the playtests, that should update automatically. You have the avatar creation, which is popping up like this. And then you just go through the regular process that you would normally have. If you don't want to use webcam or the face tracking stuff, you can just click / unclick it again, just to have that kind of prompt and whatnot. Please test that out and give some feedback and scare the crap out of your neighbors while you're running around making faces at them. have the new avatar creator. If you check through some of the earlier blog/streams. Run through this back and forth. Twitch drops won't be something you can sell in store. I believe you can, but they don't have any stats at all, so they're like there's no stats values or anything from it. Like the housing world objects and whatnot don't have anything statistics to them. So they should be fairly safe regardless. More of a thingy-majig. We got some randomization going on here. Customization, some new outfits. As you saw, we've scrapped a lot of the old clothing for starter is still available to craft. And all the boots now have proper movement / calorie reduction stats. I'm looking over more of what we want to do with clothing in general as we're going post 10. And yeah, so the general notion of the Twitch drops is just kind of add some stuff. Where did the cutting edge recipes go? Most of them got thrown out. Basically awaiting a rework. It's kind of been, they were kind of left in for way too long. They didn't really have any functionality, and they were just didn't really make any sense for them to be in there. But they were just never removed from the previous versions. So now that we have a major version upgrade, I kind of took the opportunity to just eat them out. Yeah, on the face tracking, it'll track your face and motions and whatnot you do, as well as hands and fingers and whatnot, when you are doing stuff and have that enabled. So you can do some pretty fancy things. We have some new detailing colorization for these items. You can get pretty creative, and there's also, with this whole thing, it's been a big experimentation for the art team to kind of see over all the clothing in general and how much detailing they want into it, what parts are going to be customizable in terms of colors and whatnot. Has been pretty fun to go over and see what we can do in what kind of scope we want in. But yeah, so if you grab that, you get to a finalization of your avatar. And this is also what's going to be shown on your kind of player card when you're in game. Set background to something a little lighter. Red. There, look at that, beautiful. That. And favorite world name. Best world name ever. Yeah, I know. So proud. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so a few kind of big well, a few big changes. There's so much things in here that has been changed and overall, but a few of the big noticeable ones for older players is gonna be that your early game is gonna be looking way differently. As I've added a restriction for requiring the specialty when you're crafting research papers. The requirement for specialty for actually manufacturing the upgrade modules have been removed. You still have research papers that's been added to, and you still have certain items that is required to manufacture them. So the gates, like the profession gates themselves, are not necessarily altered. But you are having, for some of them, you might be having a slightly higher dependency for getting them. However, the level requirements that you were previously the big hurdle to get passed through is no longer there. And I hope I didn't forget to nuke anything out of the playtest so it actually loads and everything properly. Yeah, so we have like if you want like a big bullet point of what this update can contain, we had a huge refactor to the avatar. We have added, boats, vehicles. A tremendous amount of effort kind of went into making that whole system work. And we also snuck in some last minute changes and fixes. That there's still a couple of animations that is lacking, and some speed ups that need to be happening. But the animals should also be less prone to weirdness. So here we have the new flax plant that is in. And as I mentioned earlier, if you are migrating a 9.7 world, you're going to run into a few quirks that you might notice. One, you're going to have to spawn in flax some way, shape, or another, because it's a completely brand new crop. It won't... it's not going to be backwards kind of... it's not going to grow on your server that never had flax on it. You also might need to run... some habitability layer spawn. I know there's some detailing in the technical threads on Discord about how to do that. The deer does the deer still use the matrix to dodge arrows sometimes? They still have a few kind of quick quirk turns that they do. But overall, we've been doing a lot of pathing and AI analyzing that should and has been doing a lot of debugging to the animals, so they're behaving a lot nicer. Not sure how much of that went into the actual release, but a lot of improvements to it. So yeah, another thing for migrating servers is, someone mentioned it, I shall miss the elastic fox. The slender fox has, I think someone spotted a variation of another slender animal in one specific scenario, in one... Yeah, but yeah, the slender fox is basically gone. But there was one animal that got caught in the same configuration that we're doing it. What did you do to the slender fox? We fixed it. We fixed it. It's fixed. But yeah, no. So the there's a whole heap load of fixes in across the board. But on the 9.7 thing, when you update, or if you run through from 9.7 to 10, one thing that you are gonna notice is that blocks will be rotated the wrong way in a lot of cases, especially for stairs and ramps. And that's because of a you call it a standardization of how the block is oriented in the Unity assets, which previously didn't really matter as much. But something that we kind of uniformly did. This. So you've seen this with asphalt. This has kind of been a standard thing for a while since Anna initially implemented it. So you have a line tool. You grab the blocks out, and you can build up as ramps. While that always worked because of the orientation of the asphalt was correctly set as being at 0 degrees orientation for the default block state. This wasn't the case for a lot of the different block types. So when you tried to place a block like this and you wanted to orient it, it would look for the default rotation on the next step, which meant if all blocks didn't uniformly be placed in the same direction on that 0 angle, it would try to place the stairs in the incorrect manner. So in this case, like I'm doing a line here, it would try to do a diagonal line because the blocks are in the opposite kind of direction. But yeah, so that's one of the things that we went over and added. There's a couple of things that there's I think 3 block forms that I missed doing it for, so those will be coming out in a maintenance update or hotfix, depending on. But yeah, so this is something that we've added to a large majority of it. So as long as you're kind of building in the path of the staircase or the ramp, it'll automatically diagonally build it. Something that have been requested quite frequently, and we talked about it in regards to the stone roads. The stone roads have their block forms now, which means that you can build them. So one of the things, the ramp for the stone blocks are gone. They're no longer world objects, you can't place them. They are individual blocks. And of course, as with everything else that has a block form, it is now buildable by line or fill or, whichever form types you want to build. No more single block placement for these things. Which also means that they have a new placeable version of them as well. Yeah, a couple of cool new features. We also have a new move feature for the world objects, which makes dealing with house reconstruction a bit easier. Some tooltips on loading screens would be helpful. Yeah, we started looking at some of that. The range is still the same, but I reduced the amount of calories required. There's not a detailed changelog yet. There's a lot of keybinds that are not told to us 3,000 hours deep, and I'm still learning stuff. Is that something we can toggle to make larger? Which one would... for the distance required. So the distance limitations are set by calorie consumption, and if you are using, you're on a server UI. Yes, yeah, there we go. I believe it should be in here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So if you are looking into config, and I think I added this to the template. I'll get chewed out by Dennis if I forgot. Inside gameplay category, you've got the balance config. You have calorie multiplier on move. This is what's determining how much it costs to move things, which is multiplied in total weight in kilos. So if you have, 3 kilos worth of materials in a stockpile, it'll multiply that with the amount of tiles you want to move it. So this can be reduced to a very, very, very small value to reduce the general cost to move things. As for the actual range limit specifically, you might need to do some slight minor modding for it, because I don't think the actual range limit is exposed, but it's something I could look at. I think you do entry table. Yeah. Oh. Hammer. There we go. So here you have a control move function versus pickup. So if you hit control and left click, you have that set 20 meter. And the main reason for the range limit is just kind of it's mostly to just avoid exploitation for things like moving full stockpiles or back and forth as a means of transportation rather than having to infrastructurally build to move things around. But it's definitely something I can look into if we want to easily just allow from the server perspective. But the calories are in there, so you can kind of omit or negate the weight requirements. But yeah. Calorie multiplier in water is for swimming. In there somewhere. You have this calorie consumption rate where you can set multipliers for if you're swimming in ocean versus swimming in deep ocean. Left click to cancel should be fine. You do this, right click, and then left. This, and then cancel. Still, it's a little bit touchy. But it is part of just continuing building polish that we were working on. I think it might also be that the hammer animation for the modern one. Left click to cancel moving tables. A very good question. Nope. Not firing the animation for when you're canceling move things. That should be fine. It's just actual block interaction building that's still a little bit finicky with some of the higher tools that have animation speeds. The animation for them is set inside the specific tools. So it's not really linked to a specific value on the tools. It's directly linked to like the tool prefab. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing an animation for the cancellation. I think that is... because it's not doing it if you don't have another block you're looking at. It's a priority issue here. So if I'm trying to cancel things and I have a block adjacent to it, that's when it's trying to do it. Otherwise, it won't. So there's still a few kind of minor glitches and some polished things that will be kind of keep patching up and maintenance updating for, and kind of continually grabbing feedback now that it's released and we have a a general bigger audience that is attacking all of these little quirks. And there's still a few things that we notice and we know of since the big refactors to a lot of the interaction system. So there's still a few quirks in the surrounding building and kind of prioritize layer interactions between like world objects versus plants versus blocks, and if you're looking at a block through a plant and so on and so forth. But yeah, overall, it's been a crazy journey getting here. We're super excited to finally have it released. Stoked to see all the feedback and all the crazy things people are gonna have at it. Yeah, jump on a server, grab a little canoe, take a whirl around, see what you feel, see what you're missing, and what you want to be doing. Wonder. Yeah, look at this. Beautiful. Some of the new food that were added. 16 claims max for homestead. Yes, which is configurable. Like anything and everything almost reliably configurable to settings from the server side of things. Jump into gameplay, and then you want to jump into settlements. And here you have basically every single setting that is related to settlements that may be needing to be adjusted. And I know it's a lot in here. They all have descriptions. They all have kind of an explanation to what they're actually doing. And for someone that was asking about the influence earlier, you have have a cultured advantage, weighted annex. There's a default. Here we go. So these are the base values for the tier of settlements. Should probably have been not named as an array, but as properties. Although, just ignoring the helicopters. I'm completely ignoring the helicopters. But yeah, so if you have a server and you have a lower population of a server, but you want to have a bigger world, then these are going to be your main points that you want to be changing out, because you have an influence multiplier, which is just exponentially increasing the value in the different settlements. You have the base influence value, so when you first place down a town or a country or whatnot, this is the smallest possible radius that this is going to be covering. And then you have the actual, you have the amount of cultural properties that could be in here. And a whole slew of other settings that you want to be looking over as well if you want to customize it to going over all of these settings. So as was mentioned here and asked for, was 16 claims being maximum for a homestead. This is the setting that you want to be changing for that specific value. So this is the specific homestead stake. And then you also have specific values for these if they are on a regular claim stake or if they're on a foundation itself. And the difference here is if we take a town foundation, for example. So when you first want to start a town, you build one of these out of the new amazing cool settlement crafting table. And this is something that you craft out of the workbench. And in here, it has all the new and all the old craftables with this. So homestead is what you get with the starter tent. So when you take your starter camp, you see that little stake here in front? That is your homestead stake. So when you place this down, it prompts that you're now a member of or a resident of this homestead. That is what this is. And to improve the amount that you can claim from this, you need to add claim papers here from a town it's under or a country it's under, and so on. So, nope, don't want to go to bed there. I want to just open it up. And I want to grab the claim tool, which is revised, upgraded, and polished. It also points to the compass is actually working if you get confused in which direction you're looking at. So here you can see that we have this info plate that wasn't really used prior. There was some underlying changes in 9.7 that it was kind of visible, but didn't really contain all the information that we had in mind. So this is where you see the amount of plots claimed for this specific deed. And a homestead has 16 by default. And as an answer to that one, Geist, yes, you will be able to do that. You point towards which settlement or stake you want them to be associated with. You do like /spawn claims and then the town or country name or settlement ID, which is under settlement. And I believe StallF has updated the Wikipedia page for all the commands. So you have add claim papers, add claim stakes that you can use, and then specify the specific settlement that you want them to be placed in, and then they will be spawned inside that foundation. So I have my homestead here. I can claim up to 16 plots. When you have a separate thing for like a town foundation, you can place this down and it'll claim that first piece of land that it gets placed on up here, which means you're also gonna want to claim more properties if you want to be building a bigger building for it. So you want to be just grabbing your mouse movement, right-clicking the claim tool, and you get a list of all the deeds you have access to. And you can specify which one you want to be claiming for at that time. And then you can just scroll over, claim up, and as you can see up top, the town foundation has 9 plots by default that it belongs to. And then once it's formed, which has a few requirements, such as the amount of citizens, which is also something that you can configure. The volume space is the world object requirement, as well as the room tier and everything is, yeah, the pencil seems to have gone AWOL in first person view. Things that are things on the list to do, because they're handled kind of separate towards animation wise and sync wise. But yeah, so that, like, all of these plot limitations, depending on a claim stake versus foundations, can all be adjusted and set here. These might be renamed variable wise to kind of make more sense in terms of the tier. But it is also, like, this whole structure system is also set up to be completely modular and moddable. So the base idea is that you should be able to add more settlement types if you want them to be added. Oh yeah, look at that. I even get a DM from one of the devs working on a fix right now. So we're swapping from the claim tool to an empty slot. Apparently fixes the pencil. Is that fixing the pencil? Oh, it's not. Or swap to the claim tool from an empty slot. I don't know, Luca. You're making this up. I'm holding the pen, but I'm not not actually working. A non-empty. Okay, hang on. So if I grab the hammer and I switch over. Yeah, see, there we go. That worked. The peculiarities of touch screen claim tool. As you can see, these amazing little sneaky bugs. If I swap it in from an empty tool, it doesn't use the pen, but if I have a tool selected and I switch to it, it'll use the pen. Is there somewhere in the configs to change it out so you can only have one spawn point? I know Mishka was playing around with it a little bit, but that whole system should still be working. Last I heard. Take it with a grain of salt. So inside inside initial setup and users, you still have that general thing. I know there was some issues getting this to override the current setup, so I'm not gonna promise on it, but it should work. And if it doesn't, it needs to work, I think is the premise. And then you have the initial one, and you want to be checking through the initial spawn as well, to make sure that because you can also disable the general thing and only show settlement spawns, so you like disable wild spawns, which is probably what you're looking for. In if you're only wanting to have one world spawn, you're probably looking at customizing to have like a global government from the start, or a global federation from the start, in case this would poke around a little bit with it. If you run into issues, just drop a message on Discord and try to see what's going on. We also have these for the modding scene. We've poked around a little bit with new catching layers. So here you can specify what entities can be caught with which specific catch layer. And so on. So here you can actually customize what you can catch with what vehicle or what entities, and like if you catch jaguars with the fishing pole, you can tinker that around and it will catch a jaguar. Back and forth. Reputation also got a bit of a rework. You have these variables in here as well. Speaking well of others reward, where if you give a certain amount of positive rep to different people, you'll be rewarded with a certain amount of positive rep back, so you can kind of keep giving out more rep. And all of these are just, you know, they're in here. They're in the slew of different new configurations that you can go through and tinker with from a server admin perspective. There was a new Twitch interaction tool. Is anything needed to add that? Talk to Jordan if you have any, or the test game if you have any issues trying to sort that out. As he's the lead dev on the Twitch thing. It was approved by Twitch. I don't know how much is available as of right now. I think it should be live. But basically it will sync up and allow you to do, like, this integration will activate when you connect Twitch to a Twitch enabled eco server, and there's a few things in here for Twitch. So from an admin perspective, they need to have Twitch integration enabled for all of these things, and they can decide and enable, disable Twitch subscriptions required, and so on and so forth. So just a few things there that the admin might need to set up to actually be used. And then once you have that sorted out, inside, what is that called? Board of election. Yeah. So inside here, you can make so inside here, if I had civic powers, needs a constitution. Thank you. There we go. So inside a election process, which is what you need for elections, you can enable, or you can configure these Twitch weights. So Twitch subscriber votes on subscribers versus maximum percentage of Twitch votes. You can set it to like 5%. So even if everyone watching your stream is voting, then they're only going to be accounting to a total of 5% of the entire bulk that's voting on this election. There's a few things in here that you can kind of tweak over, and then you also have some new variables to clean up and any kind of inconsistencies here with what happens if it's a tie and so on. So there's a few cool Twitch related things in there that can allow viewers and subscribers to kind of participate and have a say in your community elections, if you have those set up. Now, if you still want to have them be able to use the plugin and just see like statistics and whatnot, but not have a say in those elections, you can just set them to 0 in that election type, and even if they can vote on it, it would just be kind of an arbitrary vote of passion and not actually be effectful. So that's also possible. But yeah, holy moly. 2 hours later, it feels like, or almost. It's been a long journey up to 10. We finally have it released. Make sure to drop in any bug reports or anything that pops out that we missed, or any, if you're running into issues, just head over on the Discord and drop in player logs and server logs or whatnot, and we'll try to help out as much as we can, as quickly as we can. I'm guessing that we're gonna see a bit more influx of issues now that we're reaching a broader general audience outside the playtest people, which have been freaking stellar and fantastic. Amazing, helping out with a lot of these bug reports and helping us squash so many bugs. It's crazy. We had on, I can share, maybe I can share some production stuff, maybe. I ask nicely. Grab a short here. Grab, just to kind of give a little bit of a preview on how our projection looked. Like if I go back in like October, maybe. Yeah. Let's grab this here. Hopefully people won't be too sad over it. So just to give people kind of a sneak peek into just general like production of things and kind of how we were doing and how 10 were looking. If that disappeared. Yeah, so this is how things were looking like in October. We were up on and I'm just doing this on the fly, so we'll see if Dennis shoots at me later, or Angus maybe. But yeah, so you generally had like 600 bugs, roughly, And no, this is just like bugs that, you know, were misbehaving. This is not like polished tasks or things that were still not completed, or like general feature implementation. But we were projecting it to be somewhere early December, and the green line being like stuff that were being fixed, and then the white line was basically stuff that needs to be fixed. So everyone just put in like these last 3 months, everyone just put everything in high gear and really crunched the crap out of all the general bugs and everything that people were reporting in the playtests. And we're doing really super efficient work throughout, and managed to get that down to a really crazy low number. Now we still have a few quirks and shenanigans that's going on, but it was a lot of work and everything. Everyone has spent a tremendous amount of time just making sure that this goes out as smooth as possible. So yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good experience. I see some people are having some technical issues, but the game doesn't allow me to create a world or connect to one no matter what I do. First thing would do run a verification. Second thing I would do is make sure that you've created an avatar, or you completed that process through an avatar. The third would be connecting to Discord and hopping into the technical help channels and posting logs, because there might be either a hardware issue or some other driver conflict, whatnot. I do know that like we're in terms of Windows support, it's basically 10 and 11. I know someone was trying to join up with 8.1, and it just doesn't work. So make sure that you have the OS as supported requirement as well. On feedback as well, we tuned down the sound of the rain and changed it out a bit. Now it's a lot more smooth, a lot less intrusive. Yes, there's a lot of graphical stuff that's changed, a lot of technical stuff that changed. Architecturally, it's almost like a brand new game. Really proud over all the things that we've accomplished in 10. It's been a journey, and we're finally at the destination of this particular point of it. So yeah, enjoy it, have at it, go nuts, and we'll keep updating with some of the almost all the textures are changed. Yeah, we're at it, and as you can hear, I'm you know, my cold is eating me up right now, so I'm going to hop off, grab some tea, and grab a blanket or something and cozy up and get warm. Going to raid another drop person. I really don't have Twitch set up to that stream, since I'm doing restream stuff. So I would raid if I have the functionalities for it set up. That's something that Ryan has, and he'll most likely host the next one, but we'll have more details on what's going on, and for that, for the next stream. But yeah, you know, keep in touch. And catch you on the next stream. Have a great week, and have fun.